How much marketing is too much marketing? If you sell anything online, you've probably asked yourself, am I sending too many emails? Am I posting too much? Am I not posting enough? Am I pestering people? We have sold over $25 million in online courses, and I wanted an actual answer to that question. Not a theory, not my best guess, but a real number. So I did something. I poured through over 6,000 individual customer journeys to figure out exactly how many touch points the average person needs before they buy. And what I found completely killed an old marketing rule everybody used to follow, including me. It changed the way I look at business, and it led me to building my current business doing $300,000 per month. So whether you sell courses, coaching, communities, services, or physical products, this changes everything about how you should be marketing, and let me show you why. Now, there was this rule in marketing I used to hear all the time when I was just getting started. I heard it in all the books and all the gurus I was learning from, and it was called the Rule of 7. You've probably heard of it at this point. Essentially, it was that the average person takes 7 touch points before buying something from you. I didn't know this, but that actually came from a group of Hollywood executives in 1930 who found that it took 7 exposures or impressions to a movie poster before someone bought a ticket. That then became marketing lore. Every guru and their dog started quoting it and putting it in their books and YouTube videos. But it was almost like none of them actually knew for themselves what it actually was. They were just regurgitating some random rule they heard from a marketer who heard it from someone else. The problem, I think, is that this is 100 years old. In 1930, people maybe saw a couple dozen advertisements per day. Now, studies have found the average person sees 4,000 to 10,000 ad impressions per day. We're not in Kansas anymore. So I wanted to find out what the actual number was for me, right? Maybe not a rule for everyone to live by indefinitely and become the next marketing lore, but at least know for my online business. And I just so happen to have the perfect data set to get that answer. As mentioned, we have sold over $25 million in online courses. So I went through about 6,000 individual purchase journeys. Every click, every email, every video watched, every ad, every Google search. I wanted to see the full journey from that very first touch point, that first impression of seeing our faces or a piece of content, all the way to the very last touch point before they decided to buy from us. And what I found is that almost every single buyer journey looked something like this. The average person clicked on 3 to 10 YouTube videos, 2 to 8 Instagram videos, 2 to 6 different paid ads across Facebook, YouTube, and Google, clicked 5 to 15 individual emails, and did 1 to 5 Google searches. And again, I did this to answer just 2 questions. How long did it take from the first contact to purchase? And how many touch points did it take? So the duration of time and then the volume of interactions. 2 different things. Some people bought literally within a day or 2 of that first touch point. Others took over 2 years, no joke, and hundreds of touch points. But in between those 2 big extremes and across all 6,000 purchase journeys, you want to know what the average was? The average was 6 months and 15 touch points. And real quick here, when I say touch points in this context, I actually mean clicks, right? Technically, when people use the word touch point, they're referring to an impression. But impressions and clicks carry very different levels of intent. A click is someone actively choosing to engage with you. It's a choice of theirs. An impression could just be your face flying past them on a car or on social media, and then they don't even give it a second thought. Those are not the same thing on the same level, right? Technically still a touch point, an impression is. And if you're curious how many impressions are needed, I didn't do that research myself, but some studies have found it took 266 total touches or impressions to get a sale. But regardless of what the number is for impressions versus clicks, for my purpose, when I say 15 touch points, I mean 15 intentional and trackable interactions, which are clicks. That's a much higher bar than just, oh, they saw my stuff, which is precisely why I have now coined a new rule to kill the old one, the rule of 15. And it completely changed how I think about marketing. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, that's great, Stockton. You got data. Good for you. I don't have 6,000 customers to dig through. What does this do and what does this rule mean for me? I have coached thousands of marketers and business owners just like you, so I can tell you what I believe this to mean. And it means that most of you are marketing like a weirdo. What do I mean by this? Okay, relax. You're proposing to people on the first date. Hey, will you marry me? No, actually, I have no idea who you are. I don't trust you. I don't know if I like you yet. I have zero relationship with you yet. And yet, that is exactly how most of you market, whether you realize it or not. You post twice, maybe thrice, to Instagram and YouTube, and then you send a couple emails out of duty, and then you're mind blown as to why nobody wants to buy your stuff. You think this is all a big sham. The only sham was whoever told you you were going to achieve passive income after posting 3 times. And it's funny, I actually got a comment on one of my videos the other day. The guy said something like, showing up up more frequently doesn't work. I don't like how many emails you send me, so I unsubscribed. And then in the same comment, he said, I'm not your buyer and I don't plan on buying from you. I don't know if he was angry or not, but didn't like my emails. And I thought, what a weird comment. I don't want him to buy from me if he's not my buyer. The 15 touch points I'm talking about are not about pestering people who were never going to buy from you in the first place. It's about staying present for the person who does have the problem, does want the solution, but just is not ready yet. Eugene Schwartz, one of the greatest copywriters who ever lived, one of my favorites, laid out 5 stages of market awareness. You've got unaware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware, and most aware. And at any given time, only about 3 to 10% of your entire market that you can even talk to is actually ready to buy now. That's it. The other 90% in your market are in those first 3 stages. They're just not ready. Not being ready is different from I'll never buy from you. I think most of a customer's reason for not buying is a timing issue, right? Their pain is not strong enough yet. Their current solution hasn't failed them badly enough yet. Their budget or their urgency or whatever isn't there yet. So I think the question is not, am I being annoying? The question is, am I showing up enough for the person who is ready? And am I staying in front of the people who will be ready 3 months from now? The people who need the most touch points, who need the follow-up, are the 90% right here. So if you market like this guy probably markets, and you're so timid and afraid of pestering people that by the time they're ready to buy from you, they've forgotten about you and bought from the person who is following this rule. I promise you. How do I know this? Let me give you a real life example. I just got done finishing my basement. I'm trying to finish a office studio to work in and needed to find the contractors to do the work, right? Everything. Drywall, flooring, framing, plumbing, electrical, the whole thing. So I did what everyone else does. I went to ChatGPT. I typed in top flooring companies near me and I called 5 of them. Seemed like enough. All 5 gave me a quote over the phone. Pretty simple. But only one of them actually showed up to my house in person. He walked through the basement. I talked to him face to face. He took measurements. He gave me a far more customized quote based on his findings. And then something magical happened. You might be shocked here. He came back the next day. He followed up just to check in. And he even brought over some flooring samples that I didn't ask for. Got to see his product. I liked the carpet he had. I liked the wood that he showed me. He showed up again 2 days after that to talk about pricing options. He showed up again to show me a 3D render. And by about the 5th or 6th visit, I kid you not, this guy got so comfortable, he would just walk into my basement unannounced, no knocking, and he would text me and say, hey, I'm here, come down. Was it a little annoying? Honestly, yes. A little invasive too, but here's why this is so powerful. I started right here in the problem aware stage. I needed my basement finished. That was my problem. It took me about 7 full days to get all the way down to that fully aware stage. But in those 7 days of shopping around, getting some quotes, doing my research, the 5 companies I initially called were on the clock, right? The timer started for them. Business is a battlefield and he who has the most touch points wins. By day 7, 2 of those 5 had 0 touch points after they gave me the initial quote. They were waiting for me, I guess, to call them back. I don't know. The other 2 called me once to check in, but it wasn't until a full week had passed. All 4, get this, all 4 of these companies combined had less touch points than a single solitary small business. Who do you think I ended up hiring? It wasn't even a question. He was the only person I even had a relationship with, any relationship. By the time his competitors had called me with a belated and kind of lazy follow-up, not only had I hired him, but he had completed the job. He had already finished the whole basement by the time they followed up with me. So this is just a guy, regular dude with a truck and a tool belt who understood one principle better than I think most of us do as marketers. Show up more. That is it. Do you think showing up less would have made me more likely to hire him? This guy seems to think so, but the answer should be pretty obvious. I am not encouraging you to be annoying and invasive. Don't do anything illegal. Don't break into people's basements. But as long as you're adding value along the way and you're building a positive relationship with people, it's often not a question of if they'll buy, it's when. And the ones who show up the most are the ones who are there when that when actually arrives. So here is the takeaway, and I want you to really hear this. If you changed nothing about your business, nothing about your product, nothing about your pricing, and all you did was just increase the volume of how often you show up in front of people, you would see results, period. Take that to the bank, try it for 3 months, and if you truly don't see a difference, come back and slander me online. I love my keyboard warriors. I might even give you a shout out like I did this guy. All jokes aside, marketing is a quantity game. Yes, quality matters. You can't just throw garbage out into the world and then expect people to love you for it. But quantity is a quality in and of itself. You cannot be the best kept secret on the internet and then expect to make money. We've got Lambo-loving gurus with horrible products and questionable morals making millions of dollars online simply because they out-market you. They out-touchpoint you. And that should tell you something. Even a bad product can succeed with enough touch points. Imagine what a good product can do if you just showed up more. So this video is for you. He or she who is too timid to show up frequently for fear of being annoying, but has an exceptional product or expertise others are in actual need of. You can 10x your current volume, and I can assure you, you would still need more volume before being annoying. The best marketers on planet Earth are playing a long game. They're not posting 3 times and then waiting for a miracle. They understand the average person needs months and dozens of interactions before they're ready. So they build some systems that create those touch points automatically. Emails, videos, ads, content, all of it. And they do it consistently over a very long period of time. Your job is not to make one perfect piece of content. Your job is to increase the number of touch points happening in your customer's life. That is the game. So now the real question becomes how? Okay, how do you actually create all those touch points? How do you write the emails? How do you build the funnels? How do you make the content, run the ads, and do it consistently without burning yourself out like many do? That is exactly why we built Course Creator 360. It's an all-in-one platform where you can write and send your emails, automate your entire nurture sequences, build your websites, your funnels, plan and post your content, host your courses and communities. But it's not just the tools. It's not just a software. We've loaded it with every template we've ever used over the last 10 years that helped us sell over $25 million in courses. Email templates, funnel designs, ad scripts, all of it. Plus, in combination with all that, we give you our actual how-to blueprint, the courses, how to copyright, build a strong offer, market yourself, create ads, grow on social media, automate, scale, and much more. It's all included in the same subscription. You can join a 30-day free trial though. You can try it out for free, get a sample, but whether you choose to use my software, my education and templates to build your business or someone else's, the principle still stays the same. Stop under-marketing. Start showing up. You're just 15 touch points away from your next sale. Hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe for the next one, and we'll see you guys later.